Indie company Sierra Online pioneered the adventure game genre with timeless classics like King's Quest and Leisure Suit Larry. These games originally utilized just the keyboard, but the genre hit its stride when the mouse became the main interface, resulting in the name point-and-click adventure games. Sierra Online pumped out more and more titles. Quest for Glory, Space Quest, Eco Quest, Goblin's Quest, Mixed Up Mother Goose, The Adventures of Willy, Beamish, Dr. Brain, Pepper's Adventures in Time. The list goes on, and it should be obvious this style of gameplay was becoming hugely popular. There was another company hot on the heels of Sierra's trailblazing efforts. Lucasfilm Games, later known as LucasArts, began making games based on George Lucas's franchises, like Indiana Jones, but also unique titles like Sam & Max and Monkey Island. Both companies continued for 2 decades, and this competition resulted in each trying to outperform the other, giving fans increasingly better and richer games. Not that it stopped some people from clinging to one company over the other and refusing to play the competitors' games. Oops, yeah, I'm guilty of that, and I'm making up for that right now. It's refreshing to play an adventure game that differs so much from the standard Sierra approach. LucasArts did 2 main things. 1, they removed the threat of dying.
Oh, be careful, Graham!
Thanks for playing King's Quest V.
2, did their best to avoid situations where the player would get stuck. And getting stuck is one of the worst things in a point-and-click adventure game. It makes me feel like such a failure. Before we get to the main course, let's look at one of their earlier games, Maniac Mansion, the prequel to Day of the Tentacle. A crashing meteor streaks across the sky and lands near a mansion, awakening the inhabitants. Carefully, the occupants retrieve the radioactive rock for further inspection. That blue-skinned scientist, known as Dr. Fred, finds great interest in the rare object and takes it to his lab for assessment. This assessment soon sours, and Dr. Fred becomes highly influenced by the sentient meteor's wishes. This game stars the local teenager Dave Miller and his group of 6 juvenile friends to save captured girlfriend Sandy, who's in danger of getting her brain sucked out by the spooky Dr. Fred all the way back in 1987. Only Dave and 2 of his selected friends can enter the mansion for a once-in-a-lifetime adventure. These kids are an odd assortment of questionable heroes, most likely influenced by 80s movies like 1984's The Return of the Living Dead. Each of these kids have their own talents to help Dave with breaking the law by infiltrating the mansion, nicknamed Maniac, because of the highly bizarre antics of the owners. Aside from the doctor, there lives his super freak wife, Nurse Edna, along with their antisocial son, Weird Ed. They all give off a sort of Addams Family vibe with their unusual appearance, apparent wealth, and dysfunctional way of life. Still, the family presents itself as very tight-knit and devoted, despite the eerie interior of their home. Is that a chainsaw on the knife rack in the kitchen? Wait, is that blood leading up to the fridge? Run, Dave, get out! No, oh no, no! Only by working together through finding useful objects around the mansion and avoiding the overbearing family will our young champions make any headway into saving Sandy. The extensive hallways and numerous rooms offer a sense of normality, but a ghoulish undertone will keep us nervous time after time about what's around the corner. A pair of disembodied pet tentacles owned by the Doctor, one purple, one green, both roam the mansion. Green, as the green one is known by, will attempt to block our passage further into the mansion. All he really wants is a tasty treat. He's actually kinda cute. Purple, on the other hand, furiously guards the trapped girlfriend Sandy and must be dealt with one way or another. This guy means business, and he will gladly lock up the kids in the dungeon to rot for all eternity. Cherish every breath you take, as unlike future LucasArts games, death is possible. One false move can set off a chain reaction, leaving the mansion and nearby cities in dust. But hey, we can't just stand here dancing in the street. Maniac Mansion initiated the Scum engine used by many future LucasArts games, including Day of the Tentacle. Scum, S-C-U-M-M, standing for Script Creation Utility for Maniac Mansion, became the standard engine for many point-and-click adventure games from the company. The main section of the screen houses the viewable game window. The bottom portion of the screen contains numerous verbs to control the kids and to manipulate the environment. The inventory is also right here waiting to be used, looking pretty in pink. There's not much music in the game aside from the introduction, so spin your favorite tunes to set the mood. The game eventually got ported to the NES, where it featured a full soundtrack, but the game itself suffered greatly after being heavily clobbered by Nintendo's censorship sledgehammer. After finding one of the many solutions to ending the mind-controlling meteor, Dave, dead or alive, will hopefully get reunited with his girlfriend Sandy, and thus ends Maniac Mansion. After that awesome game, it took LucasArts 6 years to develop a sequel. Maniac Mansion 2, or as it's better known as Day of the Tentacle, sucked its way into existence in 1993 on MS-DOS and Macintosh. Time has passed. It's been over 5 years since the kids last risked their lives in the horrifying, spooky, sometimes even deadly mansion. Today, things are different, as the mansion sits in an idyllic setting with happy birds flying about, breathing the clean air. Uh-oh. Seems like things aren't so elegant when we get a closer look.
I'm thirsty.
I don't think you should drink that. It looks bad for you.
It makes me feel great. Smarter, more aggressive.
Purple Tentacle was always a jerk, and now with just a couple of arms, he thinks he has the ability to
Take on the world.
Look, Hoagie, it's a hamster. Just what I need for dissection lab tomorrow.
I think I need that for the band, Laverne. You know, like we could bite its head off or whatever.
Welcome to the home of 3 20-something adults named Laverne, Hoagie,
Hands off that hamster.
and Bernard. Out of the 3, Bernard is someone we should remember from before. He was one of the selectable friends to join Dave in the last adventure. He was a bit of a nerd and a coward, but Bernard still had a good heart.
He belongs to Weird Ed Edison, and it looks like he's brought us a note. It's from my old friend, Green Tentacle. He says that Purple Tentacle's mutated into an insane genius, and Dr. Fred's going to kill them both.
There goes any chance Purple had of taking over the world.
I thought I was free of Dr. Fred and those crazy Edisons forever. But now, I know that I must go back to the mansion.
The 3 of them get in a car and drive to the mansion. Miraculously, they survive Bernard's driving, even after crashing into a tree as some sort of parking solution. Arriving back at the mansion once again, the 3 split up to find the tentacles and free them from the clutches of Dr. Fred. Bernard stumbles into a hidden passage in the grandfather clock, while the mophead and the metalhead talk upstairs.
What's a tentacle?
Yeah, Bernard wanted us to set them free.
Did you say Bernard?
Okay, you're free to go.
Thanks, Bernard.
Yes, thank you, naive human. Now I can finish taking over the world.
Thankfully, being the amazing mastermind that he is, Dr. Fred comes up with a solution.
Our only hope now is to turn off my sludge-o-magic machine and prevent the toxic mutagen from entering the river.
Only problem is...
Isn't it a little late for that, Doctor?
Of course, that's why I'll have to do it yesterday. To the time machine.
To reset reality back to normal, Dr. Fred hatches a plan and places Bernard, Laverne, and Hoagie into 3 chronojohns.
The Chronojohn!
Chronojohns basically being time-traveling porta-potties, assuring them of the safety of such travel.
Have any people ever been hurt in this thing?
Of course not. This is the first time I've ever tried it on people.
Dr. Fred hits the switch and off they go. Surely nothing can go wrong with this.
And they said imitation diamond wasn't good enough. Uh-oh.
After the diamond shatters, poor Hoagie crash lands 200 years in the past, and Laverne finds herself hanging on a tree 200 years in the future. Bernard somehow manages to return to the modern era. In order to get Bernard's friends returned to his time, both Hoagie and Laverne need to plug their chronojohns back in and turn them on.
Plug them in? Where is Hoagie going to find an electrical outlet 200 years in the past?
At this point, we're now familiar with the game's narrative and are giving control of Bernard to explore the mansion. This game uses the SCUM engine, but with some improvements. A few verbs have been condensed, and the inventory is now depicted visually to the right. Picking up how to play is very simple, and so much less of a hassle compared to Maniac Mansion with its bazillion verb choices. Why did it have verbs like turn on and turn off? Who thought this was a good idea? The only thing missing here are controlling multiple characters. As we play with Bernard,
come back anytime, you big hunk.
we eventually gain access to Hoagie. While Bernard is nerding it out in contemporary times, the long-haired roadie, Hoagie, finds himself in colonial America times. 'Twas the time of our classic founding fathers, some represented here at the very same mansion, and each as impressive as the rest, with their humble attitudes.
I was just admiring my reflection in the window. Striking, aren't I?
Their tremendous bravery.
What clued you in? The shivering, the knocking knees, the deathly pallor, or the chattering teeth?
And their brilliant scientific minds.
Nice working with you, Hoagie. I promise to name an invention after you someday.
Hoagie and Bernard can switch out by clicking on their faces at the right of the inventory. Not only that, but items can be transported to each other through the use of the chronojohn. Flushing items down the toilet.
No, through time!
Results in the obvious arrival of a water-soaked, time-thrown item. That raw spaghetti pasta ends up as a pile of soggy noodles, but a few items will be rather immune to the process.
It's all slimy and sticking together.
A shortcut exists to bypass this process by simply moving an inventory item to the desired character's icon. It'll instantly appear in their inventory, ready for use as if we had flushed it down.
Bitchin'.
Scattered throughout the mansion are the familiar faces of George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, John Hancock, Betsy Ross, and Benjamin Franklin, all working on the future of the United States. Lucky Hoagie gets the impossible chance to banter with these leaders, and he takes full opportunity to waste the occasion.
I've got another design change for the flag.
I knew it. What's the current brainstorm from our fickle founding fathers?
We need a babe in a leather bikini swinging a broadaxe.
Through his sloppy, somewhat disgusting explorations, we learn a relative of Dr. Fred exists here. This man much resembles his descendant, both in physical form and cerebral curiosity. While he's an excellent source for Hoagie to get his chronojohn back online, he'll discover working with everyone will be vital to securing his way back to the future. Laverne remains stuck in the future, but beyond that, she's stuck in a tree. Even if we could send a chainsaw through the toilet, she wouldn't have a way of operating it. Since time naturally flows only in one direction, perhaps we can find a way to alter the future by messing with the past. Sure enough, we discover a tree residing next to the mansion. Through a series of actions, we're able to convince George Washington to chop it down, and voila! Laverne's future changes to reflect the lack of that tree, and she, along with her chronojohn, tumble downwards to the ground. Laverne's time is a fast forward of 200 years. The mansion is still here, but now we see the effects of Purple Tentacle's diabolic plan. Tentacles roam and control the mansion and presumably the whole wide world. Humans exist as mere backdrops, some chained in a basement, with others upstairs awaiting a human beauty contest reminiscent of a degrading dog show.
My name's Harold. I'm a thoroughbred.
A guard keeps watch over Laverne as she now resides stuck again, this time in jail. Still, we now have full control over all three main characters in each respective time zone.
They've got the spleen mixed up with the liver.
This odd girl can barely keep up with her medical studies enough as it is, and now she's trying to save the world in between exams. Armed with nothing but a scalpel, she has to attempt to maneuver her way out of jail and get her chronogon working. The futuristic mansion has been updated with self-opening doors and innovative appliances, but still maintains a similar structure as in the past. A few rooms seem to have been lost to the Tentacle's reach and remain the same as in modern times. While Ron Gilbert and Gary Winnick designed the original Maniac Mansion, a new duo took over for the sequel. Dave Grossman, along with a lesser-known Tim Schafer, worked together to construct a new game based on story elements from the original Maniac Mansion. It's a bit difficult to truly compare the two games, as 6 years of time difference, especially jumping from the 80s to the 90s, allowed for a big change in what could be accomplished. This allowed much more creative freedom for the game designers, and both Tim and Dave took full opportunity to exploit all innovations. New colors, music, backgrounds, animations, and now voiceovers.
Wow, you can talk.
Wow, so can you. What a coincidence.
Give Dave the Tentacle a striking contrast to the clearly dated look and feel of Maniac Mansion. Any gamer of today can confidently pick this game up for a playthrough despite its early 90s release. The backgrounds have a striking look to them that may evoke comparisons to artistic styles seen in Looney Tunes cartoons. It's no surprise then that the game designers took inspiration from Chuck Jones, the creator of Looney Tunes.
Who says you can't learn anything from cartoons, eh, kitty?
Numerous aspects from the show crop up throughout.
And this, my chubby friend, is a time capsule, filled with remembrances of our time.
Hey, even some Ren and Stimpy influence squeaks in.
It's big, it's heavy, it's wood.
The best part of Day of the Tentacle, hands down, are the voiceovers. Every character gets a unique and humorous style that the actors bring to life with every line. My personal favorites include Bernard and Hoagie, but it's hard not to get a kick out of everyone.
Sometimes I do stupid stuff and I don't even know why. As if my body were being controlled by some demented, sadistic puppet master.
Well, we all feel that way sometimes.
Not only are the actors nailing the lines, but the words are wonderfully written. Talking to NPCs can present a list of possible dialogue choices. These dialogue trees feature lines that can't always be selected each playthrough, presenting a mild replayability.
I'm almost too frightened to ask. Are you the marble delivery man, or the model?
I'm the model. Should I take my clothes off now? I'm the delivery man, okay, if I unload in here?
Aside from awesome voices, the characters are also drawn together in comical, exaggerated ways. Playing the game is much like watching a cartoon unfold. This has to be a design choice, and the game designers did an excellent job pulling this off. So if you are a fan of the original Maniac Mansion, you may have some burning questions about the fate of the Edison family. Well, we've met Dr. Fred, but whatever happened to his wife, Nurse Edna, and their son, Weird Ed? As to be expected, the Edison family can be found in the modern era with Bernard. Yes, Dr. Fred is still going strong. Now free from the meteor plaguing his thoughts, he's back to working as a mad scientist on his own terms.
You can't have a high-tech laboratory like this and not spew poisonous filth.
Edna runs the mansion upstairs, keeping an eye on the entire premises.
Say, aren't you Bernard Bernoulli?
Due to money constraints, they've resorted to renting out the mansion as a hotel.
That and Edna's tips from her exotic dancing.
Weird Ed continues to keep himself busy, alone in his room with his dull stamp collection. His previous weird disposition has vanished, and he now appears emotionally stunted, just mindlessly perusing his stamps. Thankfully, his adorable hamster can be found safe and sound, just like from the days of Maniac Mansion.
Wait, what did happen to the hamster that night?
All I know is that I used to have a cute white hamster with spots, and now I have a cute brown one with no spots. It used to worry me, and the nightmares would come. I used to have a really smart hamster, but something happened to him. All I can think of is a flash of light and this horrible sound.
What was the horrible sound?
It was sort of like ding. Oh God, I hear it in my dreams till this day. Oh, it makes me so mad. I just want to... relax. I want to relax. I'll be okay if I just focus on my stamps.
Thinking back, this family isn't really the bizarre, weird group this time around. Sure, in the first game, they were obviously evil, locking up kids in the basement and preparing to suck out precious young brains. The kids were just trying to save Sandy and did what they could. In Dave the Tentacle, it's the kids who are causing all the mischief while displaying unruly characteristics and actions. They've broken into the mansion, literally unleashed mankind's demise, and are doing terrible things to the poor Edisons.
Well, you know what they say. If you want to save the world, you gotta push a few old ladies down the stairs.
Many questions remain unanswered about the fate of the rest of the crew from the first game.
What did you say your wife's name was again? Sandy. Oh yeah.
But there's still plenty of nostalgic moments to keep those of us who played the original chuckling. The three kids still need to stop Purple Tentacle. The game splits itself into three main parts. First is obtaining control of everyone. Second is working on getting everyone back to the modern time. And third, working together to ruin Purple's plans. Getting through these segments does not take too long, and someone could finish the game in a couple of days. Even rushing through it, it'll be hard not to notice and appreciate the quirky attitude and humor packed into every aspect of the game. This attention to detail pays off during gameplay, but it has the obvious consequence of affecting the game's length. It does, however, make sure that every moment is as fun and exciting as the rest. Maniac Mansion was a hugely popular game, and its sequel had a lot to live up to. Day of the Tentacle still holds up today as a solid game full of laughs and smiles. Any point-and-click adventure game fan owes it to themselves to give Day of the Tentacle a try. Don't feel like you need to play the original before playing this one, though. In fact, anyone can give Maniac Mansion a whirl by clicking on the computer in Weird Edison's room while playing Day of the Tentacle. The original game is available in full from start to finish. While my friend JimmyHapa from Import Gaming for the Win was still living on my island, he showed me a hidden level in Zombies Ate My Neighbors called, aptly so, Day of the Tentacle. We had a blast tearing through the map littered with evil purple tentacles swarming around a mansion with a glowing meteor in the background. Big thanks go out to JimmyHapa for recommending Day of the Tentacle, and thank you for watching. I'm so sorry I neglected LucasArts all these years. Well, hope to see you guys again next time on Retro Island Gaming. See ya!